Right, so my job is to talk about our approach, how we work with Mitel and how we make this move to the cloud a success. My name's Jonathan Sharp, I'm the Sales and Marketing Director at Britannic. I've been with Britannic now since, well, 97, so just over 18 years. And in my time in the company, there's been a huge change in the technology and in how it's delivered. I joined just at the time, a number of you may remember the Index product that had a reasonable footprint in the UK. And I joined just at the time that was being introduced, so it was digital telephone systems, and that was the great excitement, ISDN technology and digital. We saw a great opportunity with Mitel, and we started working with those guys around about 2002, I think, when IP was introduced, and we saw this as a great opportunity to move forward with customers with the way in which the technology was delivered and managed, to be able to converge networks and actually support, we talk about flexible working today, but the idea of being able to take a phone and plug it in anywhere and connect back to the central telephone system, when I show people this, they were amazed, right? To go to an exhibition, plug a phone in and connect over the internet and be connected to our phone system, it really blew people away. So it's amazing how technology changes, and we continue to keep pushing the barriers and the bounds of what's possible. So what I want to do is just reflect on what we saw as the dawn of a new era. So this was about the emergence of cloud and the opportunity with cloud. And I remember having quite a lot of conversations with lots of different people, both internally and externally, about cloud telephony and where the market was going. And there were these new pop-up companies that had emerged with software applications that people were using for cloud telephony. And a lot of it really was fueled by the financial pressures, 2008, the global recession, and that need for organisations to try and control and manage costs, to look at the shape of the businesses that they had, and people were looking at trying to deleverage, trying to remove headcounts as well, which is an unfortunate byproduct of the financial constraints people were working with, and also get more predictability around the costings for technology. And cloud was growing in the IT world. There were more and more data centers, and people have moved over to that way of working. And the cost per user per month, someone else providing the management for it, it was very attractive to people. There was a lot of people that were now starting to embark upon cloud telephony. Is this a better alternative for me to support the position I'm in? And I was looking at it, and I reviewed a number of the different cloud telephony solutions out there, but from my perspective, the functionality just wasn't good enough. Why would a business that we were working with, that was really relying upon their communications, actually dumb down the technology that they were going to have? Why would they make this compromise just to get a financial model that worked for them, just to get to an environment where they could maybe hand off some of the management and some of the architectural decisions that need to be made? So from my perspective, we'd worked with Mitel for a long time. We thought a lot of the technology, thought a lot of Mitel, and very innovative business. And it was very much a case where we'd been early on working with Mitel with VMware. We deployed one of the earliest VMware solutions in the UK with Mitel, and it dawned to us that there was a great opportunity to actually take the technology of Mitel, build out a data center infrastructure, use virtualization technology, and actually build out a cloud offering using Mitel at its core. So that was the 2010 plan. We sat around in the business as a board. We made a decision that there was this great opportunity with Mitel. The technology was great. It lended itself to be delivered as a cloud solution. but we were going to need to make a lot of changes. We were going to be delivering technology in a different way. We needed to look at the SLAs, the availability. We needed to look at resilience and start having conversations around business continuity. We needed to improve the capability around supporting the expectation of 24/7 support and monitoring. I'll talk through some of those later, but there was a big change and review that we needed to undertake. We saw the opportunity, we were focused on it, and thankfully, I believe we chose the right solution, the right partner, and we went to market with what is today recognised as the world-leading solution. And I'll talk through some of the changes that we had to make, but also how we've worked with customers to manage this transition to the cloud. And I think it's an important point from Lisa that she's made is that Mitel, the technology, the software that's delivered is the same, whether it's on-premise, whether it's on a controller, whether it's in a VMware environment, whether it's in a cloud environment. It's exactly the same software, exactly the same experience. And for all the Mitel users in the room, what it actually does is it gives you great choice moving forward, because you can genuinely take that software and, if you wish to, move it into a cloud environment, move it into a data center location, and actually remove the support and the overhead of the infrastructure, the architecture that we've all been used to managing for years. So the benefits of cloud, there's lots of benefits. We heard a number of them from Lisa. So one of the discussions that we'd had early on and we'd seen with other providers was this call for clear, easy to understand pricing. The utility model of I pay so much per user per month, I know what I'm getting, and it's very easy to budget for, it's very easy to change. If I want to flex up, I can add some more users. If I want to remove some users, I can remove some users. So that sort of concept. It should be very resilient, yeah, and that's part of the design that needs to be looked at. And one of the things that I would certainly impress upon you, and which is why I'll be talking about private cloud, is actually for us to become agile and us to deliver great customer experience and efficiency within our businesses. Actually, you know what? If we can join systems together, if we can join technology together, integrate different applications, different systems and different processes, there's a great benefit that can be achieved from there. Now, if I'm consuming a cloud offering which may have restricted functionality and it doesn't give me the ability to connect and plug into my business system so I can create the automation, create the efficiency, then I'm actually losing out. So a private cloud where you can actually understand and plan changes and enhancements is really important. I see it myself when I get the latest update from Microsoft, right? So, moving to the next version of PowerPoint, and I was talking to Mike earlier on about how we changed something over on the screen. I didn't have a clue. Because this new version had been loaded onto my machine. There was no consultation. I had no training, no awareness that this change had been made. And each and every time a new software application is rolled out, you're trying to fumble around, trying to find out what's changed. So our model and our approach very much is actually managed environments with customers and managing the change in development of technology, which is, I think, private cloud is the way that we've chosen to go. Because if you're in an environment where you're supporting a lot of users in a fast and demanding world that we live in today, if features change and you don't know what they are, then you've got a support overhead of people who cannot function as effectively as they could. Most definitely, cloud gives you the opportunity to review where you're at, where you want to get to, and how to get there. And even though the software with Mitel, it's the same stream as if it was on-premise. What we certainly encourage customers to do is to take a step back and look at where they're at, where they want to get to, undertake some consultation with the business and with the users, and actually plan out how and where new technology can be implemented to drive the business forward. So I would see the cloud decision as a great opportunity just to review where you are and where you want to get to. You know, use it as an opportunity to engage the business and actually start looking at these new flexible working initiatives, looking at how we can extend control and functionality to people irrespective of where they are, whether they're working from home, whether they're working in the field on mobile devices. So our approach to cloud, we've got a really wide approach, which I think is really good. It gives customers choice. So we have our own cloud, and I'll talk about this shortly. And these are environments where we're across tier 3 data centers, where we're building out systems for customers and managing those systems. It's not a multi-tenanted platform where we make a change and the change is pushed out to every single customer, irrespective of whether they want it or not. It's a managed environment for individual customers. We also work with customers where we've deployed the same technology into their own data centers as well, or into third-party data centers that they work with. And the last one there is hybrid cloud. You know, one of the great opportunities should be with cloud is the resilience argument, the business continuity, that if a problem occurs over here, you know, the system carries on working. There's suitable resilience and redundancy in the platforms to support that. Now, we have got customers who've got single locations, right? So their choice is, well, if the main system goes down, I've got a problem. I lose services and connectivity to my staff. So one way to overcome that is actually host an instance of the same system in a data center and actually connect the two together. So you're now in an environment where, you know, yes, you may have some resource and skills and technology in-house and on-premise that you can use, but you can also connect to a cloud environment to really build extra resilience into how you're operating. So again, looking at it, I wanted to make sure that we were giving customers great choice and great value for money. And you know, the easy thing is to actually say, well, we'll build a subscription model, and people can rent the technology from us, and they keep paying month on month forevermore. And you know, it's a great thing for a technology company, great model for a technology company, because it's clearly very profitable over time. But is it necessarily the best thing for a customer? And you know, I wanted to have a range of offerings that really suited people as well. You know, if you've got existing Mitel investment, why start all over again? Why move to a model where you're now paying cost per user per month forevermore? So this was the first offering we took out to market, which is actually customers who had existing Mitel software and licensing reuse that investment. You own it. You know, if you want to move to a cloud environment, to a data center, and have somebody else hosting it and indeed managing it, why start all over again? Why move to a cloud provider? It's certainly got the lowest cost of ownership because you already own it, so you're paying for hosting and management on top. There's another model that we looked at, which was hosted CapEx, so you buy, you own. So this is for people who are either adding to what they had or new customers to Britannic and Mitel, where they went and bought the licensing, and then we would host it in the cloud, in the data centers for them. Again, really good long-term cost of ownership. These are things to look at. You know, the number of customers and prospective customers we go in who have seen that headline price of so much per user per month, and have just looked at a 3-year period or a 2-year period, because that's what the cloud provider wants you to look at, who haven't considered the overall investment around SIP trunking and infrastructure, the need for circuits, and then beyond that initial period, what's the actual cost going to be? It's quite interesting when you get into those discussions and debates with people, that when they actually look and stretch the life cycle of that technology they're going to go and implement, that actually this, as I can't think of any that haven't been, this has been a more compelling and competitive offering than alternatives they've looked at. The other thing, of course, to think about is when you do own these licenses, so if you buy it either outright or you lease the technology, so it's financed, and over a 3-year period you now own that technology. After that period, if we convert it to a cost per user per month or a cost per service per month, then once that product has been paid off, the ongoing service charge drops dramatically. So again, great total cost of ownership for customers. And what I found really interesting working with customers and actually going in and reviewing not just where they're at and where they want to get to, but the makeup of the different services that they procure. If they have ISDN and the costs associated with that, and the network infrastructure. Actually, when we go through these reviews, we're generally delivering much better, newer technology that can drive improvements, and doing it whilst delivering a cost saving. It's a very, it's a great position to be in, that actually if we look holistically with customers, we can take cost out of their current setup and deliver more for their money. And of course, if people want to move to a subscription model where they purely rent, and it's gives a lot more flexibility around scaling up and scaling down, we offer that too. So there's in my view, great range of offerings, and any Mitel users are in a great position to be able to take the investment they've already made, and if they want to move to cloud, want the security and the resilience, and someone else having the ownership of management, then again, that's all possible today. So our cloud, it spans multiple tier 3 data centers. We use best of breed technologies, and in fact, we've just been going through a program, large investment of upgrading our core, and I'll talk about that later, and the benefits it delivers. We built out a network operations center, and we use monitoring to actually monitor the technology we deliver. It's not just monitoring the cloud environment, it's actually looking and connecting into the Mitel systems, as an example, that we're providing, and looking at the health and availability of those systems for customers as well. Our environment was built for real-time applications. We saw this opportunity, we designed and built this cloud environment to support voice and video communications, things that are actually not going to be tolerant to latency within the network. It's resilient and secure. So again, the way in which we've designed this is we've got failover across multiple data centers. We've got automatic backup of the systems we're delivering to customers, and we've also gone through the 27001 security certification as well, so we've got the seal of approval. And these are things that when you embark upon a journey to the cloud, it's really important to look at with any provider that you're talking to. Look at how they're geared up to support you and the enterprise class communications that you need. We reworked the SLAs that we delivered to customers, so we were very clear on how we would manage the contracts and the interfaces. We wanted to work to 5 nines uptime. So again, this involved a lot in actually designing the architecture to be able to support it. And behind the 5 nines uptime, we've also provide penalties. So if we don't meet them, we're actually giving money back to customers. It's important to work with somebody that isn't just claiming it, they can deliver it, and if they fail, there's some skin in the game. There was a report out today from Ofcom. I don't know if anyone's heard about the report about OpenReach being encouraged to open up and actually share their networks and their ducting to be able to allow other providers to come into the market more aggressively, create better value for customers, but also support high-speed fibre connections for consumers and business. You know, this is the great opportunity today. Is we're consuming more and more applications, more and more data across these networks, and we need high-speed connections and fibre optic switching. And this is something that we've done recently. Is we've upgraded our core to support this. So big investment from us. And we've got a 40 gig MPLS core, which we can extend in increments of 100 gig as we need to. So, you know, again, really important that you're working with a partner that not only has the large connectivity at the core, but also has the understanding of networking and applications performance, and can actually help to provide the connectivity at the edge as well, you know, that whole end-to-end piece. So this is a picture that we actually drew out back in 2010 when we were looking at the sort of things that we wanted to deliver to customers. So the concept was very much a three-tiered model, which is a range of services at the top, which included IP telephony, included unified comms, included contact center, recording, SIP trunking, integration technologies to join phone systems and databases together. You know, all of these different things that we wanted to deliver as a service to customers, make it easy to access the technology. The need to actually replicate the systems across multiple locations, whether it's our cloud environment, whether it's customers' data center environments, whether it's third-party data centers that they're working with. And we set up a load of different ways of actually connecting in to networks and data centers for customers, because we recognize that, you know, it isn't one size fits all. We're not necessarily going to be the cloud provider or the data center provider for every single customer, and there may be existing agreements or infrastructure in place that we need to connect to. So we embarked upon a journey of working with tier one network providers and data centers to be able to build what was a meshed network where we could take connections from different carriers and different partners and actually build this end-to-end network piece, design it to support the applications that needed to be delivered, the performance that was required, end-to-end monitoring and reporting across the whole stack, and connect into other networks and other data centers securely, which really was about giving customers choice. And the whole thing we were doing at the time was going in and actually looking at where people were at, the different types of technologies and services and cost models, and then if it was an agreed vision and strategy to move to this type of model, we were working out a way forward. We were working out how to break that journey up into manageable chunks, so that we could start to move over with confidence with customers and deliver what was a successful change over to the cloud. So planning the strategy and change, it really is important. You know, we do a lot with customers with workshops and discussions, you know, the audits of existing systems, looking at costs, looking at maintenance contracts, looking at connections that are in place, trying to right-size the resource requirements. Again, if you think an organisation with multiple locations, the traditional model is we buy individual phone systems and ISDN connections and software applications. We've got to manage all of those things, and when you actually bring all of those together, you'll find across an organisation which is distributed, the traditional model was over-resourced. There was more than was needed. So by actually moving to this sort of shared service model within a business, there was a great opportunity to start to reconcile costs and circuits and and software and hardware that actually wasn't required. And this is how we were working with people to actually take considerable cost out of the existing environment, but move them to new, resilient platforms with higher SLAs and new technology to move them forward. As part of it, I absolutely agree with Lisa, the need for user consultation, working out the different templates and types of users and what technology you're going to deliver, make it easy for people, consider what they do in their role, consider the sort of technology they need to operate, and actually make it easy for them to understand and consume. Don't be focused on all the technical discussions and debate and architecture of how we're going to deliver it. Actually work with the users to support this change and adoption. That's one of the challenges that we see of any technology change, is the user buy-in and adoption. So that's something that we work to. We build out user acceptance programs and testings and training program and pilots. It's important to actually take people along with you when you're effecting this change. Looking at the financial modelling. So if we're converting the investment to a cost per user per month, if we're on a subscription basis, if we're reusing existing licensing, what does the cost model look like? How do we deliver it in a simple way that you can budget for and you can scale and you can manage moving forward? Because certainly what we've seen in the past is the complexity in the market. Invariably lots and lots of different suppliers, getting copies of the BT bills and seeing all of the services that people are paying for that they don't actually need and should have been cancelled many years ago. So it's a great opportunity to really refresh, tidy up and work out a strategy moving forward. And then most definitely we then break that journey up into manageable chunks with clear measurable outcomes, and we then deliver upon it. So the service had to change, and really we've got customers who we may host their technology, but they still have access and they still manage the systems and the ads, moves and changes themselves, and the contact center flows themselves. And then we've got other customers where we deliver the technology as a fully managed service. So there's one example I'll pick up on later on, which is Kent Messenger Group, where their telecoms guy was leaving the business. They were changing head office. It was multi-site environment, lots of different technology, and they had a very, very short space of time. Got some grey hairs over that one to make this change and implement this cloud solution. And we did it, and actually we've moved to an environment where anytime they want to change, they contact us and we make the changes for them. So they don't have to be in an environment where they're having to have the skills in their business. So we work across those different scales. The monitoring 24/7 is really important, the proactive management. So we've got a 24/7 support, we've got web access for customers. I believe in transparency. We built a customer extranet many years ago so that customers can log and interact via the website, but they can also see what we're doing and how we're resolving things. And we're judged accordingly, as I think we should be. We extend access to monitoring and reporting tools via the web if customers want to see and use those as well, so that together we're actually making sure that we're managing the delivery of technology back into the business. We are focused on uptime, performance of these environments, and again we work with customers to review this through service delivery management and provide the reporting and advice. Within that, as I said about the benefit of private cloud, if we're designing something that is really there to be aligned to our business and integrate with different applications, it's important we manage change. We look at change windows. So again, it's a process that we work to. It's not just a case of make a software upgrade and hope everything's going to be okay. There's a lot of testing we go through. When we're deploying these systems for customers, we're looking at the different points of failure as well, and we're building out BCP plans, we're building out resilient testing, and we go through and we sign these things off, really just to give customers the assurance that it's going to be there. And of course, as we move forward, it's really important that we understand our customers, where they're at, where they want to get to, the challenges they face, and the service and account management team are there to advise about new technology and how it can fit and how it can help and how it can help to drive really the value back into the business. So the end-to-end monitoring, as I said, we have plugins into, just two examples there, Mitel and Redbox, so we can look at the health and availability of those technologies. If customers want access to it, we provide access. We have notifications and alerts, and again, we're more than happy to include customers on those as well if they want to see them. And then we're delivering comprehensive reporting as well. And our relationship changes. We're now very much we're working together to support the delivery of this technology, and the accountability is very much there with us as a business. And I think for me, one of the real benefits that I've seen talking to customers is the fact that we've got a really strong skill set end to end. So we've got our own SIP trunking platform that we developed back in 2004, so we understand that technology. We've built out cloud environments. We've been working with networking providers since 2004. We've got multiple interconnects into networks, into data centers. We manage local area networks as well as wide area networks and wireless environments, and a lot of skill around application development and delivery. We acquired a software house back in 2000, and what it really means, all of that skill set, is when customers have experienced a problem, even if it's not a component that we're managing, we should be able to help. We should be able to use our experience, our skills and our tools to start to pinpoint where problems are. And one great example of that was there's a customer called Kelford Seaton, a firm of architects, and they had an NEC phone system in place, and we hadn't provided it, but we provided the MPLS network for them and the SIP trunking for them, and they were experiencing issues with the phone system, with the platform, and they didn't really know what was going on, and they'd gone back to the provider and the maintainer of the phone system, and they're just getting it's the network, it's not us, go and talk to the network provider. So we used tools to be able to pinpoint what the problem was, showed them, and together we were able to address the problem with their NEC phone system, because we were able to give the information that the maintainer needed. Admittedly, a couple of years down the line, when the contract had expired for the NEC phone system, they decided to move to the cloud with Britannic and Mitel, so it's very positive. But we didn't leave that customer high and dry with another provider. We rolled our sleeves up, we worked with them, we used our skill set to help out. Billing is really important, so with managed services, and if it is a cost per user per month, or hosting, different applications, actually being in a position where you can see what you're getting and what you're paying for. So we've got our own billing platform. We developed this in-house many years ago. I think it was 98, 99 that we developed this. And then we work with customers to build out cost center management and reporting, just to make things easier for them so they can track it. And we've even got companies that we work with that we've built cloud platforms that they then sell to their customers as well. and they use our billing platform to be able to onward bill their customers. So these are things that are really important. So what does the future look like? Well, as I said, we've gone through and we've updated our core network. We are introducing a software-defined networking layer into the technology we're providing for customers. So in essence, we're going to be delivering and extending control to customers to set up services and undertake tests and turn on maybe new router configurations, do all of these things themselves. So again, if people want the control, if they want the flexibility, we're going to be extending it to customers. I mentioned before that our cloud is optimized for real-time applications. Big investments in building out this core infrastructure and network so we can scale with customers as required. ISO 27001, a lot of compliance and protection built into the network. I think we've got personally, and from the feedback I've had, I think we've got the widest range of choice in the market around cloud with Mitel. I think we offer really great commercial models for customers as well. It's not a case of pay £10 per user per month for the rest of your life. There are other routes and other options to actually make this whole cloud proposition a lot more competitive. I would argue that we have the most comprehensive cloud offering and end-to-end capabilities in the market. I'll leave that to you to ultimately make your mind up through discussions with us. But I think our ability to understand and manage each of these individual components with a reporting overlay really pays dividends when customers want to embark upon this change to the future. We've got very wide reach into many data centers, both in the UK and internationally through our partnerships. And not only are we connecting into these networks and data centers through a wide range of choices, we also now are providing secure connections into public cloud environments such as Amazon as well, so extending choice into the future for customers. When it comes to cloud, SIP is one of those technologies that if you don't do it today, you're probably going to want to look at into the future. BT have announced end of life for their ISDN, PSTN network. It's 2025, so we've got a few years to address it, but there are a lot of benefits around SIP technology that we'd be happy to share with you. We are agnostic of service provider, so it's not just a case of working with one network provider to deliver connectivity. We've got a range of choice, and it's really important looking at where the locations are, what's required, what the choice is, and actually making sure that end user experience is where it needs to be by putting the right plumbing in place to join it together. So just wrapping up now before coffee, I think it is just looking at some success stories. So I mentioned Ken Messenger Group. It's actually the fastest growing media company in the UK. 350 staff across 8 locations. They had a mixed telecoms environment, 8 different locations, Avaya and Mitel technology, and they wanted a very clear plan to actually consolidate all this hardware at the edge, all of the ISDN lines that they had, and also at the same time start to deliver new technology, unified comms for flexible working, so people could work around the office as they're moving around, they could work in the field. They wanted to improve the contact center and the way in which they were servicing their customers, and they wanted to move beyond just telephone calls to actually email and web interactions. So we sat down, we spent the time with them, reviewed what they had, and we actually worked out a design and a plan to move them forward. And what was great to see was throughout this, not only did we meet their very aggressive timescales, 4 weeks, which was very aggressive, we also delivered them 46% savings on their previous expenditure in the telecoms world. So we've moved from something that was failing at different locations previously, that was expensive, hard to manage, and wasn't taking their business forward, to this new cloud model where we're actually making changes for them. It was a managed service, and we delivered 46% cost savings. So it's huge benefit for their business. And since then, again, they've come to us, recognise the wider capabilities that we have. We've now deployed a new wide area network for them. We've now rolled out cloud control around their Wi-Fi and Wi-Fi access across the group. And in fact, we're now working with them and another customer, University of Kent, to now connect the two organisations together, because they work with University of Kent around the media studies, and there's a feeder through for students into their business. So again, they're changing, they're evolving, they need greater bandwidth, greater networks. They've got radio stations where we provided networking for the radio stations. They've now got a license for IPTV as well, so we're helping them with that, and we're connecting two organisations together so that they can more effectively operate. Another one, marker study and auto windscreen. So there's over 3,500 staff across the UK. We started working with them when there were 200 staff. It was a company called Auto Windscreens. They chose to move ahead with us with Mitel. They had a distributed workforce across a number of sites across the UK. They had some real problems around the technology deployment and the cost. We went in, we worked out a plan, we migrated them to new technology. We actually saved them in that process 50% of the costs, and moved them to a centralised platform that actually really started to make some big improvements in the way in which they were operating and servicing customers. They were then acquired by Marker Study Group, bigger entity that have been going around acquiring lots and lots and lots of organisations. So today, as I said, in the group, there's over 3,500 users, multiple businesses, but they're all served from our cloud environments and Mitel technology. Trailfinders, hello in the back, Joel. So we worked with Trailfinders for many, many years, and 29 locations across UK and Ireland. There was most definitely some great cost savings around the ISDN connections and moving to SIP, but also really it was about how we took all the different technology that they had, all the Mitel investment that they had, the call recording investment, the CT integration, and we moved it into these centralised cloud environments, these private cloud environments, so that now it's a great big license pool that can be allocated anywhere across the organisation. And when a new location is set up, Matthew, their IT director, has said it now takes 10 minutes to liven up a travel centre. So assuming the connection's in place, everything can be pre-tested, pre-built, plugged in, and the system's live. And that's really the benefit, one of the major benefits of cloud is the ability to turn on services very, very quickly. ISS, over 40,000 staff worldwide. We've worked with them for a number of years. We've taken them through different technology change. We helped them move into a cloud environment with Mitel. And what I can say is I'm glad we did, because they won a contract with Barclays to provide services, global service contract to Barclays. And as part of the contract, they sold this state-of-the-art contact centre. They didn't have a contact centre, and we got a phone call to be told that we got 6 weeks to deliver this contact centre into this location. We were able to do it. We were able to use licensing that already existed on their core Mitel platform, added the contact centre technology, and then delivered it from this core all of it tested in advance. So we've also worked with them to free up the IT team. There's been a change in their business from IT into more project focus and project based. So all the time working with them to look at how we improve and tune the technology from this central location. And lastly, Mears, they wanted to improve the reliability and resilience of their contact centre. Initially it was an internal contact centre that was serving the business, and we worked with them to design out, it was one of the first cloud deployments for Britannic, design out this cloud contact centre solution that sat across 2 different locations. So we had automatic failover. Now when we make changes we can do this without impact to their business, and it's been that good for them that they've actually used it to go and win new contracts in the marketplace. So they've grown their business through this cloud technology and contact centre we've delivered. So there are a number of gotchas. So loss of analog services and interfaces is one. So there are some things we can do with local gateways and boxes connecting back into the core, but there are also new ways of supporting these services as well. Fax is a great example. There's a fax to email and email to fax service. So a lot of people just need to know that there's an alternative in what we do and how we move forward. Number porting. So if I'm moving from an ISDN world into a SIP world and I want to retain my numbers, that can be fraught with challenges. Thankfully, we've been doing this for a long time with customers, so we've learned the processes, we've challenged the way in which these things work as well, and we've actually got changes in the industry around hours of change. So we were first to bring in out of hours porting and different scenarios where numbers have moved through different carriers. Again, we led the charge in being able to help customers retain those numbers and port through. There's then a discussion around how you're going to go and do this. So the planning, phased approach, big bang, parallel running, the networks are critical, the data connections. We want to make sure that resilience is in there, it's tested. It's very, very important that the failover works. If you're putting your confidence in a partner to deliver this, you need to make sure the technology is going to be available. Definitely, whoever you talk to, make sure the SLAs are there to support what you need, and do use it as an opportunity to just take a step back and see what improvements you can make to the configuration and programming of the current system. Don't just simply copy mistakes over from one to the other, but use it as an opportunity to look at how and where you can improve the business with this technology as well. The example of Ken Messenger Group of, it was something like 200 users overnight went to having telephony features and control on their mobile phones, an extension on their mobile. Great new technology in the contact centre. It's a really good opportunity to get people excited again about what the technology can do and how it can support them and how it can help the business. So in summary, there is a lot under the hood to look at when it comes to cloud. We've got a lot of experience. We've been doing this for many years. We've been working with Mitel for many years. We've got the highest levels of accreditation. We've got proven expertise in VMware, in cloud environments, and managing this move to the cloud for people. It's going to be clearly signposted, very well documented through the Prince2 process we work through with customers. So there will be very clear documentation, project plans, and rollback methodologies, and UAT, and training, and workshops and programs that we go through. It's really important to work with a partner that is able to lead you through that change. I do genuinely think we've got the widest range of deployment methods and commercial offerings in the market. So if it is something you're considering, we'd like to talk to you, share our views, and just let you know what's possible. Again, looking at different cloud providers and what's on offer. Five nines SLAs are very, very strong and really important to have. You don't see it everywhere. The proactive monitoring is important as well. Having that confidence and assurance in the availability of the technology. We have got an approach to quality across the business. We're always looking to push and move forward. We have regular audits with BSI for 9001, 27001. We're just now embarking upon the business continuity standard with BSI as well. We want to continue to push the best practice that we're delivering to market and customers. I would say, and I was talking to Mike last week where he was saying, you've got to make sure that people understand your end-to-end capabilities. It really is an unusual thing in the market. It was a strange thing for Mike to say that maybe you don't tell people enough. Never knowingly undersold. Maybe, I don't know. But we genuinely have great technical skill sets, ability. Over 30 years in business, we've helped take customers through all these different technologies, different environments, and we can provide the end-to-end solution for customers. We don't have to. We can also integrate into existing systems and supply chain and work together, ultimately to help you get the most out of your technology investment. I firmly believe we are a progressive and positive partner to work with. We will take things on. If there are things that need to be dealt with in the industry, with the technology, with partners, we will take them on, and we'll keep ownership and get these things resolved. We will always challenge what's going on. We had great vision back in 2009, 2010 when the market was going. The path of least resistance could easily have just been sell what everyone else was selling, a different cloud offering that we didn't think was good enough. So we wanted to innovate. We wanted to take what we saw was the best in the market and move it into an environment that was going to help customers. And thank goodness we got it right. And today Mitel is number one in the world. So we are highly customer focused. It is built on partnerships. We will invest the time. We will work with you, and we'll help you review the choices. And ultimately, we're there to work with you if you want to move to the cloud, to help it make a successful journey for you. Thank you very much.